Last week we spoke of a place of divinity where human beings called mystics, you can be a mother in childbirth, you can be where something so right is happening through you, in you, where God himself looks out through your eyes. The actual God of heaven. There is such a presence. And that was kind of a preamble to what we can discuss today, which is how those of us who are deeply spiritual, mystical, inclined toward justice and beauty and kindness and truth, can actually align ourselves with the pure holiness of God and jointly take part in something that is the reason for all of us to exist at this point. To end all the travail, all the pain, all the horror, all the vileness of this present world. It's not meant. I explain this each time, but when you actually have the experience of God, when you're deeply spiritual, you have many, many, many visions throughout your life, and you know that God is God is God. And you look at this place we live in that is hell-bent for disaster every moment, every day. If you're spiritual, you know exactly what was said. You don't need an explanation to know that this is wrong, that it's corrupt, evil, unnecessary. So in the sense of aligning ourselves with that vision of the divine through us, although we're endlessly nothing to ourselves in the sense of humility and kindness, but we understand these words. And we know that this is such a time that there be time no longer. There is a sense of time, that the mystery of God should be finished. There's an infinite universe called God, infinite ecstatic glory. And the word infinite cannot begin to define, for all of us who have had these mystical experiences through our life, the enormous presence that God is, that we're part of that, and yet we're here. We're God's eyes and ears, and most of all heart and soul in the middle of this. So we reach for that vision of the divine within us, and the very holy sense, and the very practical sense. We become the new sheriff in town. We have many gifts and powers to overcome the dark force that created this infinitesimal world. The material universe does not exist spiritually. It's an apparition that just appeared out of eternity, and again, those of us who know what God is, we can see that because this is nothing. And everything of God begins with an unimaginable beauty and purity, of which this world is not. So we align ourselves with the divine very quietly, and though we're the most humble of beings, we look the dark force straight in the eye, as I've done for 60 years in doing depossessions, helping people with their traumatic difficulties, whatever. Did it on my own by his guidance, and I'd meet this one and that one that was an expert in it here and there. All of us who are spiritual know that we don't need a calling card or hang a shingle, go to a school, that it will come to us, it will come to us, it will happen, it will happen, it will happen. And not that every moment isn't a tragedy, because we have to witness the horror around us. And in the knowing of what's being said now, we don't have to witness the horror. So we become his presence. And this ends in prayer, supplication, meditation, reflection. We end it all in a whisper. God actually is God. None of us are going to be enlightened and leave the world. No. We're dismantling the thought that there is a world. There is not. I myself certainly do not worship Satan for a hairline. I never have and never will. So the world doesn't exist to me. I live in this mystical thing, present always. And it's God. And that's for all of us. I've met many like souls in this world who know this. Up in the Himalayan mountains and in Philadelphia, Virginia and Florida, Spain, England, I've met the holy ones everywhere. And they're not known. It might be your mom, your grandmom. But they definitely are you. And we can't address this openly because we're too gosh darn kind and humble, aren't we? To present this message today is very difficult because I'm nothing. In the sense of myself, it's just what all spiritual people are, and at the same time I know that it's time to dismantle the entirety of what seems to be a world. It's a projection of this little simple thing called Satan, Lucifer, whatever, and if you address it quietly, thoughtlessly, kindly, you're not fighting anything. You're just not accepting what can be called thought form, or the projections at us, or those around us. If you can do that, like my friend here, who's a very remarkable clairvoyant astrologer, she can just be with her clients and just tell them what it is and what's going to happen, and they can say things, and she's not going to react. She's going to be there. So be there for those that you find worthy. And the other fine ways of dismantling their little trips they put on us. You understand? Everyone has someone like that in their life. They can be kind of a witch on the streets or a bad person, and they get away with stuff because they don't care. They're sociopathic. They have no concern whatsoever for you. And they laugh at our sensibilities. You come up to such a one, think of me, or my buddy Master Greg here. We'll be with you, and it'll be over. You have friends. The great teacher is the one we've read about. Quotes. Again, I've met many, you've met many. This is a horror story, this whole world, everything about it. No one's going to die and go to heaven and leave this behind. That's not spiritual. I don't know, I was speaking to my buddy Trey yesterday, who lives in this place, and we were laughing like, that's not, how could we possibly think that? This thing has to go. It's in the way. Won't you help? Be very clear, very pure, very true. It doesn't take much more. There are no details. It will come to you and come to you from God directly all the time around the clock, as it has been, right? You're the teacher, you're the way shower, you're the guide, you're the Holy One, you're the truth. The seeming existence of this world cannot stand up to that kind of wisdom. You carry it within you all day, every day. And we'll dismantle this horror show that the Almighty dropped us into, to be His eyes and ears, His heart and soul. You are appointed an officer in the army of God. You'll overcome. You'll win every battle. Just getting here to this point, you've won. And all of us who've had these mystical experiences of God, who are spiritual, know exactly what was just said. The devil's knows that he has but a short time, so it's kind of crazy out there, and we're not out there. His days are numbered. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Mr. Skolta.